Superman and Lois, Season 2, Episode 4. This show, it's just so good. And in this episode, I think really set up what the narrative's going to be this season. It opened up the door to who our big bad's going to be for both Superman and for Lois. Of course, there's always going to be surprises along the way. But it just went really well. Oh, it was so good. This was probably the best episode of the season, in my opinion. Mainly for a few reasons. My favorite characters got a lot to do. I have said this time and time again. When we're doing a show called Superman and Lois, you need an equal amount of attention put on Lois Lane. She's one of my favorite characters in comic books, if not the top 5, and I adore that character so much. Elizabeth Tulloch, fantastic as Lois. And I love what they're doing with her storyline because I think it just works so well for what this woman is going through. Basically, her storyline so far this season has been she was so close to this very important story that she might have hid the truth from the public, and now that the source that she was talking to is looking to oust her, it could destroy her reputation and her credit and literally ruin Lois's career and her life. And that source is none other than Lucy Lane, played by Jenna Dewan, who I guess is reprising her role? Was Lucy in an episode of Supergirl at some point that I didn't see because I didn't watch all Supergirl? So guess she was at some point. Okay, makes sense, I guess. But so good. Like literally opening up with them fighting in the past and like their chemistry and how this older sister of Lois is just like, I'm going to protect you no matter what happens, even if it means fudging the numbers a little bit. I don't want to say Lois lied in the story, because I don't think she did. I think she told the truth and she is going to wind up on top at the end. But I could also see this being an angle where Lois kind of gets the shit end of the deal and maybe her reputation does get destroyed and she has to rebuild it, telling one of the biggest stories of the time, whatever that's going to be. So Lois' story kind of goes along with Chrissy here. They go to find Lucy, and basically they're going to this convention in the town near Smallville, and they're just like learning of this Allie woman. So we see Allie threatens Lois at the beginning. Now they're going to see her like conference about what this thing is. What is this cult that she's indoctrinating people into? And it's very interesting. So it's kind of building up this idea that you can see this version of yourself, this true form of yourself, but it hurts you and it could potentially kill you like it did kill the one woman. So there's going to be some speculation on what that's going to be. Like, what is this different interpretation of yourself that you are seeing? I got 3 ideas, and I like all of them. So my first one is, we did multiverse last season. They're looking into another multiverse where their lives have turned out differently. And Lucy's like, I want to go to a multiverse where my mom didn't leave us, where my fiance didn't leave me. Something positive, so she's looking at that version of her reality. Second one is, we're doing a Bizarro story, so maybe they're seeing a Bizarro version of themselves, and like there's just something really powerful about seeing like that angry, broken version of you that makes you want to stay into that timeline. And my third idea, which I did see this online, I saw some people talking about it, maybe this is seeing like a pre-crisis event where you're seeing your pre-crisis self where things are maybe better for you, because this does take place after the events of the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. Potentially, they do say the word crossover a few times in this episode, so it could be connected that way to Crisis. I don't know. I think it's multiversal, though. I think there's something in the multiverse that's drawing Lucy to it, and that's what we're going to see there. And by the looks of it, it looks like Lucy's going to be... Lucy. It looks like Chrissy is going to be drawn to it, too. So she still thinks Lois is lying, and then Allie has the truth, and I hope she doesn't get sucked into this cult. Chances are she is, because she's a supporting character, and that could be her through line for this, but I really hope we don't go that route. I understand it if we do, though. And speaking of understanding going that route, I talked about it last episode. You know, we got this ex-kryptonite inhaler going around at the high school, giving kids Kryptonian powers. I really was hoping that John wasn't going to take it, just because I think that story's easy. It's been done to death, and I think he is above that, and his character wouldn't really necessarily go that route. Well, he takes it, and I get it. Like, it's hard to tell a story in a high school and not want to do the drug use story. I do get that. That is a really hard thing to do. But it's so easy, and he starts to freak out a little bit when he's walking home with Natalie, and he just kind of like sees like a bird coming at him. It's kind of far away. He's got like what X-ray vision or zooming in vision. Is that a power? I guess it is. So that's happening. It's easy. I get it. I don't have any problems with it. I just wish they weren't doing it, and I don't know. It feels easy to me, but I understand it, and I do like John as a character. I think he's really well written. But I hope this doesn't become stale where it's just like, hey, we got to get him off the smack, you know? Because that could easily become boring and just something that's so cliched for this genre and this character. I don't need to see it. Jordan had some interesting stuff to do this episode too. Basically, he wants to stop some guys from robbing a store. So he sprays some little ice melt down there with his, freeze breath. And looks like there's a camera in there. So he has to call dear old grandpa to make sure that nobody sees it. And that leads to a great revelation at the end here that Jordan wants to be trained to help his father, and he's going to go above his daddy and go talk to grandpa. I love it. There's just something really interesting about that. I don't think it's going to spew too much into like Jordan getting like radicalized into like, like an old man's, like an old war general's views on politics and everything. But I could definitely see like Jordan's going to have a different, clear idea of how to like save Sarah or his mother or anybody in his life. I could see that being the case. We'll have to wait and see, but it was a nice little side story, just giving Jordan something to do. Another nice side story here is this idea of Lana's family being attacked because, George Dean thinks he's going to lose, so he's going after Sarah and Kyle, bringing up Sarah's attempted suicide again. She handles it very well. I do like the way she plays it off, where it's like, something I did. I'm not going to be ashamed for being in a dark part in my life, so I will deal with it when the time comes, and if we can take that asshole down, let's do it. Also brings up this interesting idea with Kyle, and that is his sobriety and how he's kind of might fall back on it. The last shot of Kyle, he's in a bar, everyone's cheering for him. The waitress hands him a drink and touches his hand a little too seductively. I got so nervous. I said it every episode, I will say it again here. Kyle might be my favorite character, just because when you have the big, bad, boisterous blue boy scout going around, being the pinnacle of humanity and what it's supposed to be, Kyle is the everyman. He is all of us, the boots on the ground kind of guy who doesn't know how to do right, but he's still learning and he's figuring it out along the way. He's loyal to his wife. Now, hopefully, I hope it doesn't backtrack. I don't want to see Kyle fall into these cliches where he has to cheat on Lana. I don't want to see that. I hope they don't separate. I really hope it's not like the secret comes out that they had an affair and Lana and Kyle get into a feud. I don't need to see that anymore. We've done enough of that stuff. Let Kyle grow from this moment. Let him mature. That's what we need to see. That's what the character deserves. So I really like that they're going that route. And it looks like Lana's getting some support here. So that's kind of cool to see. Again, if you're doing anything with the Cushings, do this. Like, I don't know what else you do. I don't think they're necessary for the story, but they do fill up some time. So go ahead. Do something with them. I like that a lot. I do want to come back to Lois, though, just because I've said it before. I will say it again. Elizabeth Tulloch is giving the best Lois Lane performance we've seen. Just because she's always been like the hard-edged character, and a lot of the previous interpretations don't show the emotion of Lois, and I think that's a key part to the character where this is it's bad. I don't know. Maybe this doesn't sound right, but this Lois is a mother, so I think she has more ability and more characterization to react more emotionally in certain ways. I don't mean that as like a negative. I just mean that like she has a lot more at stake now than just being like, the girlfriend to Superman. It's like, I have a family, I have a career, I have a life I'm trying to build. And just seeing her protect her sister, protect her kids, protect Natalie, really cool stuff. It's really good stuff. And that does lead us to what happens here with Superman and Steel. Well, they actually get into a couple of scraps. So at the beginning of the episode, they're just having a nice coffee. Bizarro comes to attack, and I love it. Every time Bizarro lands, you just see Tyler when he's in that. I'm sure it's Tyler, and they didn't like digitally add his face, anything. Just doing like a little weird hand twitch every time he does Bizarro. It looks great. It's a great little distinction, just like showing you like the neurotic nature of Bizarro. I love it. We see the heat breath. It is so cool. It looks great. This is the best looking Bizarro we've seen. And for some reason, we have seen a lot of Bizarros, but this is the best looking one we've seen in live action. It's fantastic. So that beginning fight, you see the two of them clashing. Big hammer comes down and hits him. It's cool. Then towards the middle of the episode, we see another amazing fight. I love this fight. It's ridiculous because it's in like Bolivia, I think. It's just in a white nothingness background of like a little bit of salt and grain everywhere. It looks cheap, but the right kind of cheap where, okay, we don't have to overextend our budget here. We just have them in a basic background. We can CG everything after. This fight looks amazing. So Bizarro's there. We see that General Anderson sends in his team there. 2 of them get killed. Tag survives and he runs away with like the Bizarro amulet. But just those couple, I think it's like a minute long where just Superman and Bizarro are wailing on each other. It looks amazing. And it just gives you goosebumps. You're like, this is the Superman we wanted. And it's on television. We're getting it here and not in a movie. That's amazing. It looks so good. So that was just an incredible thing to see. I really, really adored that. And when Steel comes in with the hammer drop, just spinning it, using all his power, and Bizarro just wails on him. Oh, so good. It looked so good. John Henry's in a coma. Oh, man. He's going to wake up. I think they even say at the end of the episode he's breathing on his own now. So potentially he's going to wake up and maybe something will happen there. I know we didn't get in this episode, but there's nothing I want more for this show, especially with this Bizarro storyline we see going on. I really just want to see a scene where Superman and Bizarro are talking. It's just Tyler and Tyler just going at it like in a sparring match of just verbal communication, not fisticuffs. Like, I really want to see that just because I think it'd be so cool. That would just be great. Just Superman trying to reason with this guy and do the right thing by talking to it instead of like sending it to Anderson. That would be so cool. I'd love it. I would really like to see that. This episode was fantastic. Every character had their moment. Every supporting character had their moment. We're setting up the storyline for literally everybody in this show. It's incredible what they managed to do in like the 44 minutes that this was. Everyone had a moment. Everybody got so much fun set up. And I just adore what this show's become. It is strong. It is powerful. It's giving us some of the best Superman and Lois content we have ever had. Small screen or big screen. That's impressive to me. And I cannot wait to see what comes next from this show. Everything about this episode, A+ for me. Incredibly satisfying, incredibly cool, and I'm super pumped for what's next. So that is going to do it for my review of Superman and Lois Episode 4. Now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.